As a debt relief attorney, I implore you, don't get into debt from social media envy. I see it all the time and understand how hard it is to avoid social media envy. But if you want to stay out of debt, then you've got to be careful about being so envious of others and what they do getting into debt, trying to keep up. It's perfectly normal to get social media envy. It's when you get into debt over your envy that you know things have gone too far. Here's a brief tour of my social media this morning. Awe-inspiring vacation pictures of friends vacationing on the Mediterranean on Facebook. A buddy jumping out of a plane in South America on Instagram. Perfectly perfected selfies on Snapchat and social gathering brags at the hottest restaurant in town on Twitter. It's no wonder why people are all trying to keep up with the Joneses. But if you don't pay attention to how you're spending your money, then you can land yourself in a load of debt. It's very difficult to avoid debt from social media envy with all the fabulous comings at your platform. There are benefits to avoiding social media altogether. However, this is not entirely necessary or practical. Use these tips to avoid getting into debt from social media envy. You first need to understand that social media is a self-promoting platform. It's difficult to avoid getting into debt from social media envy, especially when our jealousy takes over. We would all like to think we're just being happy for our friends having the times of their lives on social media, and that is true in many cases. But some people take self-promotion on social media too far to where it becomes an ongoing boasting mechanism. You know who those overposters are on your feeds. Once we really get that, and the jealousy organically starts to diminish. In fact, you might feel sorry for people who need to constantly put on social media instant gratification and attention to make themselves feel better. Your friend is a single parent on limited income, yet they just got back from a 2-week cruise to the Turks and Caicos Islands, where they dined on lobster and drank champagne in a string of dazzling posts. Smells fishy to me. You make more money than that friend and have 0 children to support, and you're struggling to make rent. That's probably because you care more about staying out of debt. It's just the fact that many people spend money that they don't have, racking up credit card bills to feed their desires. The fact of the matter is, you have no idea how people that you envy are paying for things. And you know that trip to Hawaii you saw your friend on Instagram, probably talking about 3 years of savings to pay for that. The plastic surgery your friend got to get the derriere like Kim Kardashian could have been paid for with your child's college fund. I know a real story like this. The point is, you have to know how people are financing their seemingly fabulous lifestyles, so don't get caught up in the envy trap. Please know that you're not alone in your envy. Our envy can sometimes make us feel bad about ourselves. It can make us question our self-worth. But here's the thing, we all get jealous. So if you're sitting there getting annoyed with yourself or being so envious, know that you're not alone. But to stay out of debt, you can't let your jealousy take over your wallet. People only put their best moments on social media. It has been said time and time again, but it's true that people usually only put on their best moments on social media. You don't see people posting about how upset they are and can't afford it when their rent increases, their car needs new brakes, or they get a huge electric bill, parking tickets, and flat tires. They have huge medical bills and student loans. We rarely hear about your crappy day on social media. Who would want to follow Debbie Downer on social? You can avoid social media envy when you realize that people post about their best moments. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. You just saw your friend's post about his new amazing, shiny, awe-inspiring must-have car. You immediately get online and start looking at dealerships, even though you know you're trying to still get out of debt. You've got to upgrade your car right now. Stop! Before you make purchases, ask yourself if you really need it. Is it the right thing to do based on your finances? You've got to be aware if you're making impulse purchases based on jealousy with money that you don't have. Otherwise, you will wreck your finances. If you can't afford something without putting it on a credit card, then you can't pay it off immediately. You can't afford it. Social media is an illusion, so stop the comparisons. When I see the overly top, perfectly displayed lives on social media, it reminds me of Alec Baldwin in the Cat in the Hat movie. In public, he had beautiful piano teeth, fit, trim, dripping with charm. He goes in his house, closes the door, and puts down his shades. Then he busts out his veneers, unbuckles his belt, his belly budges over. And we see that it's all a facade. We live in the era of selfie madness. Self-promotion is everything, but it's an illusion. To avoid debt from social media, stop comparing yourself to others on social media. It's not accurate comparisons. Jealousy into a motivator. One of the biggest lessons I have learned is to turn a negative into a positive. Once you become aware of what you're jealous of, identify those whats and things, or if they're things you really want. If the answer is yes, Then use your envy as a motivator to improve your finances and stay out of debt. I actually would love to jump out of a plane in South America. So how will I get there? Do I need to make more money? Cut expenses somewhere? It's perfectly fine and very healthy to have desires and wants and things. But your social media envy puts you in debt, and that is a big problem. Be grateful of what you have. So maybe you don't have everything you want right now today. We live in an instant gratification world, so I know it's hard. But be grateful for what you have right now today. If you have your health, a roof over your head, food to eat, some good friends, then be grateful. All too often, I have clients in deep debt who wish they could just turn the clock back and live what they had before. They yearn for a simpler time before debts took over their life. We all make impulse purchases at some point or another in our lives. As social media has become more and more integral part of our lives, it can be harder and harder to avoid getting into debt from social media envy. If you find yourself in debt and want to take control of your finances, it's time to get help with your debt. For more information on all things related to getting out of debt, such as 9 ways to get out of debt this summer, visit my blog. If you have any questions about your own personal debt issues, then give me a call for a free debt consultation at 858-217-5051 or submit a question via my Ask a Debt Question online form. Take the first steps to get out of debt can be difficult, but it's well worth it. Read about people just like you on my website's Client Success Story page who are now living a life free of debt. You can visit the website below to get more information about this. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And if you know somebody that needs a little help getting out of debt, be sure to share this video with them. For a free consultation, visit GamezLawFirm.com.